But this one was on May 22nd, okay? And that was about 2 weeks ago. And we're going to talk about this. So it says Detroit raped prostitute shot dead by police. Autopsy revealed 12 chewed off penises in her stomach. Okay, so she was a prostitute and there was some human remains in her stomach, some genitalia. And the autopsy of the sex worker killed by police of the Detroit Police Department last weekend revealed some astonishing and disturbing facts. Not only was she infected with rabies, she had the remains of at least a dozen human penises in her digestive system. So I'm thinking that, a lot of times if you are affected with rabies and it's not treated, it can lead to death and it can lead to really bizarre behavior and where it will cause you to die or people will have to put you down as if you would do a dog that has rabies. So a lot of these things happen. So that's probably what causes her death, the fact that it was the rabies that caused her to act the way she acted and the police had to shoot her. 47-year-old Lolita Monroe was tased repeatedly before being shot 17 times by the Detroit Police Department officers during a controversial intervention on Saturday. I can believe it because when they a rabbit, they are very strong and forceful. And it took 17 shots to probably take her down. Not the fact that she's a big woman too. The officer involved had justified the intervention, saying Miss Monroe was extremely aggressive and violent and looked as if she was possessed by a demon. That is what people who have been affected with rabies, those are the effects of their behavior. The results of our autopsy revealed this morning could provide an explanation for a 47-year-old woman's behavior. Ms. Monroe suffered from a severe case of rabies, causing anxiety, hallucination, paranoia, and abnormally aggressive behavior. The autopsy also shed some new light on Ms. Monroe, perceived by many as an innocent victim of police brutality, and gave a new direction of the investigation. Well, no, because that's how people who are infected with rabies behave. That's why they say if you are infected with rabies, you have to get treated immediately. And a lot of times it's like 25 to 30 shots in your stomach. Okay, and you have to get treated immediately. If not, it's a permanent situation and it will eventually lead to your death. The remains of the 12 partially digested human penises were found in her stomach, leading for at least a dozen potential victims. A brief press conference this afternoon, Police Chief James Cray said investigators had already located 7 of her victims in various hospitals of the region and where we're still looking for more. Okay, so a lot of the victims was in the hospital already, so I don't understand. Maybe they thought that they were going to get some sexual pleasure, and because she was infected with rabies, she bit their penises off and was chewing them. We are trying to determine the real numbers of victims and locate them. The possible that she may have struck in another city or state before arriving in Detroit, or some men died before reaching the hospital. Chief Craig says Ms. Monroe had been suffering from rabies for at least a year, so the number of her victims could reach several hundred. Wow. The medical examiner says the penises found were at most 48 hours old. If she ate a dozen in 2 days, that means she had been eating 1,000 or more over a year. This unique story generated a lot of reaction in Detroit as well as social media over the last week. Many of the rapidly condemned the police officers for their unjustified brutality today, revelation suggests that they may have actually put an end to a series of horrible cannibalistic crimes. So it wasn't really a cannibalistic crime. Like I said, it only could have been cannibalistic if, because of the mental disturbance that she had from the rabies that she was infected with. Okay, so this woman wasn't going to last too long anyway, or whatever. So this is some shocking stuff. This is some shocking behavior. The fact that she was infected with rabies, the fact that they had to kill her, the fact that she's been showing men penises and she was a prostitute. This could explain why she was showing the penises. Well, the prostitution and the men's penises is the reason why their penises were in her stomach. So when we know that we're going through a lot of police brutality and stuff like that, but we have to understand they still have a job to do and protection. So we can't label everything police brutality because they had to use force. So we have to remember that as well. So that is it for Spitting Fire. Only in Detroit will you hear some crazy shit like this. All right, leave your comments below and let's talk about what you think about this. Peace.